I come to Pete's. He was in a big school. They had a room they weren't using. He's living in it. A fellow named Hart, his wife, lived in another room there, school teachers. Well, I went in with Pete. The first Monday morning, school was on. I was out on the front gallery. Oh, honey, you can't imagine how I was enjoying breathing. Oh, I could breathe.
A good breath, huh?
Oh, I just took good long fast. And just thank God I still did for breathing. And being able to breathe, having good air. I looked up and saw a school bus coming from the west. I remember seeing that school bus coming. But it is true, Gladys is the only one I remember being on that school bus. There's bound to have been other kids on there. She wasn't on that school bus by herself, I wouldn't think, would you?
No, I don't imagine they ran the bus just for her.
And my life changed right there. I didn't know it changed that quick.
Daddy, do you remember what she had on?
I think it's a blue dress of some kind.
What made you notice, Mother? Was it her smile, or her hair, or her figure?
Everything about her.
Everything about her made you notice her.
Her legs was the first thing I saw. I just looked up and saw hers coming.
Her legs were the first thing you saw. My goodness.
Did you know she had pretty legs?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Her face, she come up smiling.
Smiling.
I spoke to her.
Did she speak back?
Oh, yeah.
Did she flirt with you a little bit, Daddy?
Yeah, and I didn't have enough sense to know it.
What'd she do? Just kind of smiled and...
Well, to begin with, I sat in the back of the house, and she sat on the back seat. And them days there, I'll always remember that. I come in with a fresh orange shirt on, sat down behind, you turned it back one time, then the second time, cut it up, and that was stylish. You know how limber she is. She turned around in that seat.
And rolled your sleeves up for you?
Rolled my sleeves up for me. Honey, that just busted my heart. I tell you.
You like that, huh?
Oh, my. Only God knows about that. Sure did. Well, she had a boyfriend.
She had a boyfriend?
She sure did.
Who was he? George. Was it John Estes?
No.
Somebody else?
She had gone to John Estes, but that was over. This boy lived up there, going to school there. Good old boy.
I bet Mother always had a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. John Estes was the one she had there. Sweetwater, wherever they live down there.
Stanford.
I forget the name of that place.
Stanford?
Yeah, Stanford. What's they got there?
Well, they're working on the road a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, where was it?
About John Estes, or the boyfriend she had.
Yeah. Well, it come there after the first 2 weeks or so. You see, I hadn't been there for just a few days, but I'd met the trustees, some, had friends made with them. And the school teacher, one of them girls, too, school teacher, got sick. Well, I hadn't anybody thought what she'd be back in a day or two. And the board members insisted he'd let me teach. So you know, the other people wouldn't put me in teaching. Well, I was teaching the night this box up come home. Fred was about 12 to 13 years old. They'd stand up and recite one at a time. All the put one at a recite. I wouldn't call on him. I'd hold him back. Your brother had already told me that you'd come and put the box up with me if I beat this boy out there. Well, I didn't even know the way out there. got friends out of country. They're spending 7. They live 4 or 5 miles from school. And I had descriptive accents.
That's what you were teaching.
That was in the lesson that day. I took the lesson over, and God told me again what to do. So I just waited and felt the foot back till the time come. I called on Footman. He jumped out his shoulder and on the side. I said, Foot, just calm down now and think carefully. I said, I want you to try to feel like and imagine you've never seen me before. I'm just a perfect stranger. But you never seen me, you don't know me. I'm just a perfect stranger. I walked up. But Foot, how do you get from here out to your house? Just get up and explain it to me.
You actually asked that little boy that question with an ulterior motive.
And he didn't make any mistakes. He got me there.
And Mother had already told you she'd go with you if you beat that other guy out there.
Yeah.
But Mother didn't tell you where she lived, huh?
No. I hadn't had time.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Huh?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I guess I done it right.
Yeah.
But I liked her wrong when I saw she was such a nice kid, and I knew I couldn't marry her. Wasn't out to be married. I didn't
You
want
weren't ready to get married, were
I
you?
didn't want to hurt her. You know, she was too sweet a kid. I told her not to take me too serious.
And she didn't, did she?
But I ought to have kept my mouth shut. I've always talked to her. I should have never told her that. Sorry, decided she'd marry me.
Harry H. Hewlett was how old on your wedding day?
24, I believe.
Were you 24?
I think so.
Well, I thought you were 8 years older than Mother. You weren't 8 years older than Mother?
I was born in 1906.
And what year did you get married?
1920, I guess it was.
Here, Terry. Well, let's see, Daddy. I was born in 33. I kind of thought y'all got married in 32.
I guess it was. 32.
How old was Mother?
18.
Do you remember what you wore when you got married?
Yeah, I had a very striped like suit.
What kind of tie did you have?
I believe I wore a black bow tie all the time.
What did Grandmother wear?
I wore a blue wedding dress. Beautiful.
Well, listen, Daddy, I think I remember that Mother told me one time that Grandmother took one of her dresses and ripped it all apart and made Mother's wedding dress out of it.
That's right.
Because it was during the Depression and they were so poor.
Yeah, I knew this poor, but I didn't know as poor as they were.
Well, where did you get married?
Dick Dixie's home.
In Aunt Dixie's home. And there at Wilson?
There's Wilson.
What time of the day was it?
It's been at 12 o'clock.
Got married right at noon almost.
Yeah.
Who was the preacher that married you?
Brother Thurston.
Brother Thurston?
Methodist preacher.
The Methodist preacher. Did you ask Aunt for her hand?
She had done fell in love. My mother, I knew pretty well I had her and one over. And I didn't mind asking her, but Aunt, I hated that. But my father always told me, he said, son, I want you to always remember if a girl's worth marrying, that's for you to be with. Your wife, she's worth asking for. So I went out to the field. He was plowing on the elevator. Had the horses hitched up to the elevator. Had a big old milking range buckled on that elevator. I finally told him I wanted to marry his daughter. I said, I haven't got any money now, but I said, I think I can make us a living. Let me tell you, as far as that part is concerned, that's all right. But now this Warren, I don't know about that. Boy, he stuttered, you know. Why he can see it to a certain extent. He didn't approve of it too much, I don't think. That's where I thought it was.
Who brought Mother to Wilson?
Her daddy?
Her daddy?
Yeah, her mother.
Were they at the wedding?
Yeah, Nita. Both things.
What did you do after the wedding was over? Did you go on a honeymoon?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
We didn't go just as soon as the wedding's over. We went to Carlsbad Cabin. Just school was just being out, you see. I didn't have no car. Us and Pete, Joe Fring went with us.
This when it happened about you playing a trick with on that Mr. and Miss Hart or something. You had to take your lunch down in the cabin and you put a roll of toilet paper in her lunch sack.
Yeah.
Is that when that happened?
Yeah. Boy, everybody out there remember that. They got thrown at one another and that got straightened out down in there.
When she opened her lunch sack and pulled that out, she was surprised.
She liked the cleaning.
And then she threw it or dropped it or something?
But before it was over with, everybody in that cabin knew about her having that toilet paper.
Did our mother ever meet your father?
What?
Meet your father? Did my mother ever meet your father?
Just barely, honey. He was blind. You might say was on a sick bed. He was up. But she didn't get to see him as he really
was. Do you believe he had cancer?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Aunt Dixie thinks he did.
His kidney trouble, and they didn't know how to handle it. Kidney poison in like they do now. They told us it's kidney poison, I believe. But it could have been cancer, and they didn't know it.
They didn't know what kind. I've been thinking about Mother. You said you had been thinking about Uncle Judd a good bit. I think about Mother a lot, and especially at Christmas time I thought about her. And Daddy, what I always remember when I was so little that I didn't even know what it meant to be overweight or anything. I was always so proud of Mother because she was always so pretty, and I was so proud when Mother came to school. My mother was prettier than anybody else's mother, and she was always slender, and that always pleased me that my mother wasn't fat. Even when I was so little that it shouldn't have even mattered to me for anybody to be fat. I was proud of my mother.
She was just as sweet as she was beautiful.
She was very sweet. And Daddy, she had a lot to put up with. Raising 6 children, and she didn't have very many modern conveniences or anything. And I remember when Uncle Judd was sick in the hospital, Mother had a new dress. She made it out of a remnant or a scrap or something. It seemed like the whole dress with the zipper too cost her less than $3. And I remember Uncle Judd was so proud of her, and he would tell everybody how pretty Mother's dress was, and he'd ask if we knew what it cost. Because she had told him she knew that would please him, that he'd enjoy that.
Daddy, had you told the story about them taking you out in the country on your wedding night, or maybe a few days after? Did you tell me?
That's on the picture.
They do it that way, They call it Chevalry-ing, but it got pretty rough. They tried me there in Wilson first. Old Ed May, he was a mean one. They convicted me of everything you could think of. I went through all kinds of punishment, and then they had a long chain around my neck, and had it locked. And put me, Red May had a little old red Ford pickup, not pickup, but what did we call them, you know, just single seated and had a
Rumble Peter.
anyhow, it had a place back in the back where you open the lid up, you know, and then shut it. They put me in there and shut that lid down on me. And tore out Slayton. He just hit one boy ditch and the other. Took me down to Nigger Town. That's when big pretty boy Floyd was such a notorious outlaw. Y'all don't any of you remember, do you? But well, he was scary, you know. He and Bonnie Parker, but they took me up there. They had a big nigger ball going on. There was a big building. It was just full of niggers. There's all of the dancing. And throwed me in there, chain and all, and hollered, "Pretty boy Floyd." Well, boy, you can't imagine how those niggers brushed out of there. Run over one another, get the door filled up, and they couldn't get out. I finally got out of it alive.
He just died here a few years ago. Floyd Hamilton.
Yeah. That was Pretty Boy Floyd. You never did call her Ann, did you?
And no.
Ann. Her family did.
Yeah, they all called her.
Why didn't you call her Ann?
I don't know. Shit.
I remember you used to tell about when Mother first married and came down here, she'd cry for her mother. Then you'd take her up to Level End to be with her mother, and then what did she do up there? It seemed like I heard she'd cry for you when she'd go back to her mother.
She'd what?
Cry for you.
Oh.
She'd cry for her mother down here, and then up there she'd cry for you.
Oh, she didn't do a whole lot of crying for her mother. She was a brave kid.
Mother was pretty brave, huh?
Yeah, they sure were. They sure were. This brave girl, I thought she'd go home. And she was the only time I'd been married there about 4 months. I hadn't drank anything. Chris Snell, a good German friend, he drank beer, then drank whiskey. He got me out to take me out north pasture to rabbit hunt, and I was shooting them rabbits. I could hit them, you know, I had a 22. I mean, whenever I see a rabbit, I'd get him. And he drove over out to a bootlegger's house there and got some beer, and I said, no, ain't no beer. Bootlegger, that's the first time I've been in his place. I sold him a lot of groceries. He wanted me to drink. No, I wouldn't drink. And I got thinking that he insisted, you know, till he bought all his groceries from me. He got me to split a bottle with him. That started me, and then I drank the bottle and another bottle. Chris got ready to go. He was going to buy some whiskey. This Dutchman liked it. He wanted to sample. He had 2 or 3 different kinds of whiskey. He'd sample the whiskey, and I drank that. Boy, I knew it. I'd drunk the considerable. Like, oh man, I shot the rabbits. I just assured them coming and going. I still, Chris often laughed about that. I still hitting the rabbits. He brought me home. First time I thought about being married after he put me out. I looked in her and Gladys, I loved her. I didn't know what to do. Oh honey, that was the most dreadful moment. I pulled my shoes off outside. I slipped in there. Well, I had my partner undressed. I didn't want to wake her up. I come over to bed, and I just sat down on one knee and just stretched out real easy till I got laid down. And just about that time I turned sick. Oh my Lord, honey. I've never been sick in my life. I vomit all half the night. She got up and helped stop all I puked, got wet towel and washed my face. That made me mean never. And I never thought that she'd go home. I was trying to make arrangements down at the store. And she said, no, I'm not going home. I mean, she stayed right with me. She didn't. But I was BYPU president. You talk about a miserable time. Was I miserable? Come Sunday, I just went before the church and told them what I'd done.
You confessed, huh?
Yeah, I told them what I'd done. I saw it for
What
it.
happened? Any repercussions?
I never thought about it. They dismissed me. Oh, no. No, they just forget. They won't be to stay there. So I just kept the practice.